Famcast Media, bitch.
Good morning, demons and demonesses. Kwame Wakan here. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on a story that I had posted back in October. Now, this story's a little bit old. Unfortunately, it went under my radar. Now, originally, I didn't really do a video on this because there was a lot of, bad reports out there, a lot of misinformation. Also, the victim in this case, Sara Blackwood, was constantly being misgendered in all of the articles, so I wasn't really able to find an article that, had accurate information as to what had happened. And by the time they got done editing it, it was like, almost a couple weeks after the murder/robbery had happened. So for those that probably forgot about it, basically what happened was in Indianapolis, there was a woman named Sara Blackwood that was walking home from work, and unfortunately she was gunned down. Now, at the time, we had no idea who the killer is. Well, turns out, a couple weeks ago, they apprehended the killer. So let's go through and read what the article has to say. Now, thankfully, I found an article that has, accurate information as to who Sara Blackwood was and who her killer is. Now, I'm not going to show you guys the mugshot just yet of who the suspect is, so I'm going to wait until after I read the article to show you. Man charged with murder, robbery in October 11th Sara Blackwood shooting. A man was charged with murder Friday in the October 11th shooting death of 39-year-old Sara Blackwood on the east side of Indianapolis. Johnny Viverette Jr., 32, was arrested and charged with murder and robbery more than a month after police found Blackwood suffering from gunshot wounds in the 2600 block of East Washington Street around 10 p.m. Viverette also faces charges of unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon, police records show. According to a probable cause affidavit, Blackwood was walking home from work at Long John Silver's when Viverette shot her, taking her purse with credit card, ID, and phone. Surveillance video from the scene reviewed by police reportedly shows a red Ford Mustang with paint missing from the bumper turned onto the road Blackwood was on at around 9:55 p.m., the affidavit said. A person gets out of the car and is later seen on another video confronting Blackwood. The suspect immediately presents their arms as if they are pointing a firearm and appears to pull Sara onto the front yard near bushes, reports say. A flash is then seen on surveillance video, and a spent bullet and casing were found near the area of the flash, according to police. The suspect left on foot and returned some hours later for the car. Nearly 2 weeks after the incident, detectives with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department located a 1997 Ford Mustang with paint missing from the same location on the bumper. Police traced the vehicle's license plate and determined it belonged to Viverette. After several nights of surveillance, police found the car at Viverette's workplace in Westfield, and surveillance photos determined the vehicle matches the one seen in the video from the crime scene, according to the affidavit. Viverette at the time of the incident was on parole for armed robbery, and the man's parole officer provided IMPD with Viverette's phone number and address, the affidavit says. The man's parole address was listed in Indianapolis, but detectives determined that Viverette was consistently staying in Lawrence. Detectives in early November reviewed Viverette's phone records and determined a phone call was made from his phone near the crime scene, almost at the exact same time the red Ford Mustang pulls up into the area, the affidavit says. Other calls were made later from the scene. Viverette, in an interview with police Friday, initially denied being in the 2600 block of East Washington Street around 10 p.m. on October 11. Police said they know he was in the area, and Viverette said his GPS messed up when he was trying to meet with someone. He later told police he was walking down the street and was going to ask a person for directions. He said the person made a movement towards him and a struggle began, the affidavit says. The affidavit says Viverette initially told police that Blackwood started reaching for something and then shot herself. Viverette said he was afraid and ran off. Viverette told police he took Blackwood's purse, phone, and credit card, but later dropped the items in an alley. He also told police he was the one with the gun, not Blackwood. When police asked Viverette why he pointed a gun at Blackwood if he was just asking for directions, Viverette said he was scared and did not intend to rob Blackwood. However, the descriptions of his actions taking the items which belonged to Sara while armed with a handgun, along with video evidence from the encounter, constitute the act of a robbery, the affidavit said. Viverette is being held in Marion County Jail. Now, about the suspect, if you guys have watched my videos and listened to my podcast and, have paid attention to every time that I report about these trans murders that happen, you would notice that all of these murders have almost one thing in common. Now, I said I was going to wait to post the mugshot, so I'm going to post it right now and let you guys look for a couple seconds. Are we noticing a pattern here? It seems like every time a trans person is murdered, it's always the same type of people that are doing this stuff. Now, apparently this guy had a criminal record and stuff like that, so apparently this isn't his first rodeo. He must have done this to several other people. And also, if you hear what his interview with police, this guy is like the worst fucking liar ever. Like, you're saying that Sara had the gun and she shot herself when you asked her for directions? I mean, you really thought that lie would work? I mean, you point a gun at her, then you say let's say that really did fucking happen. You see her pull a gun out, shoot herself, and then your first reaction is, oh my gosh, someone just shot herself. They're like, you know what, let me just take their purse and their cell phone and their credit card and, buy a bunch of shit, and then just run around, leave the scene, then come back, and then get the car, and you can tell this guy wasn't the sharpest pencil in the books. This guy was dangerous, and I personally don't even think he should have been paroled. His ass should have been stayed locked up in prison where he fucking belonged. Because I guarantee if that had happened, none of this would have ever happened. Sara would probably still be alive today. Now, the fact that this guy was already a convicted felon and he had possession of a firearm, chances are this guy will be going away for a very long time. That's a charge right there, plus the robbery charge, plus the murder charge. I don't think he's going to get a hate crime charge because, there's really no evidence to support that he targeted Sara for being trans or the fact that he didn't even know Sara at all. They were two complete strangers. So, unfortunately, there won't be a hate crime charge, but, the fact that he's a felon in possession of a gun and all these other charges, he is not going to be getting out of prison. The prison will be his, tomb. So that's good to know. Also good to know that, the family and the friends of Sara Blackwood finally have answers and the killer is finally brought to justice. So there's about a week and a half left of 2020, so let's just hope and keep our fingers crossed that no situations like this ever happen again. Hopefully in 2021 will be a better year. There'll be a lot less deaths. This pandemic shit will be over. And hopefully the police will solve whatever other murders are out there. This has been a very, bloody and violent year for, members of the LGBTQ community. Lots of, murders, lots of robberies. You have news outlets that are, misgendering and misreporting the incidents, not giving the full details as to what's going on. So hopefully all of that will be different in 2021. I have high hopes. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, continuing to do what I have to do, and everyone else has to continue to do what they have to do. But that's all I have to say about this. To Sara Blackwood, rest in peace. To all her friends and family, glad you finally got the justice that you deserve. And to this animal, Viverette, or whatever the fuck his name is, enjoy your time in prison, because that's where you fucking belong. Alright, you guys, stay safe, stay metal, hail Satan, and I'll catch you guys next time.